Oh, Mr. Jeff Cohn in the house. Look at that.
What's up, Brian?
How you doing, Jeff?
Good, man. How are you today?
I'm doing great. It's man, it's been too long. I used to get to talk to you like every week, and now you're like, I don't know, you're famous or something, and
I don't think so.
I just can't get that much of your time anymore.
Man, well, I miss you, Brian. I would love to be up in Park City with you again sometime soon.
Yeah, let's make that happen. Let me know when. We'll get it scheduled. The winter is coming, so might as well enjoy some time on the snow, right?
And it's coming. That's true. I know you guys have a lot of fun. I've seen some really cool pictures on bike trips, bicycling.
Yes, we love the mountains. We love mountain biking, and Utah is a great place to do that. So today we jumping right in, Jeff. We have a half an hour to hear your vision of 2021 and what you're excited about, and I'm super pumped to hear what you have to say today. So,
yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to chatting with you and talking about our new tech-powered hybrid office of the future and what that actually means. And I didn't connect real quick, Brian. I know from a monitor standpoint, will you confirm we're using the direct camera here? Because it looks like the laptop.
That's the thing that's set up on camera. Yes, let me in.
Okay. Brian, can you let my colleague in, who's our producer, to be the main camera? The camera I'm on right now is intended just. See if you can let. There we go.
Is that what you're asking for?
That's exactly what we were asking for.
Perfect.
That's perfect.
Okay.
All right. Now you get to see my VR setup, which is perfect.
All right. Cool. I get to see your Yeti, all your stickers on that laptop.
Exactly.
So yeah. So Jeff, I know you made the move over to KW this year, a big move. There was a lot of announcements and press and a lot of fun stuff going on there. How is that working out for what is your vision of the future? I know you strategically made that move because of where you wanted to take your business. And I don't think that's everybody's move for their business. It depends on what you want to accomplish in your business. But Jeff has some certain things he wants to accomplish where that made sense. So Jeff, I think, I know some of the things that you have in your plans, but I know you have some new things to share. And I've gotten a little bit of that VR, but I haven't seen it in detail. So hopefully we get to see some of that today.
So we're currently in our Verly studio, and I have my headset here, which is an HTC Vive Pro wireless headset, which gives people the ability to be in 6D. I'm going to pause you one second. I'm getting reverb on this when I'm talking. I'm sorry, Brian. So I just hear
you're good.
Probably because we're in twice. So what do I need to mute?
I can say if you can mute your laptop.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
do you want me to kick out this other one, Jeff?
Sorry, Brian, one sec.
Just mute your laptop, Jeff.
So the mute button in their tech won't let me hit the.
Okay, I've got your laptop muted now, Jeff.
Brian,
okay, Jeff, I can hear you again. Can you hear me?
Right.
Do you want me to mute your other microphone?
Yes, because I'm just hearing myself twice.
So, okay, hold on 1 second.
Mute the one from my laptop.
Okay, the other one is not unmuting for me, so you guys might have to unmute that. There we go. Nope, I still don't hear you.
All right, how about now?
I hear you now.
Okay. And the challenge is I hear myself too.
Yeah. Let me try to mute the one. It sounds like your mic is actually not turned on there. Try to say something now, Jeff. Yeah, the mic is not turned on.
He keeps muting me. Now try again.
Now try it, Brian.
Oh,
All right, try that.
How's that?
There we go. Oh,
Sounds good.
it keeps turning on your mic. You probably have an echo again, right?
he keeps muting me.
Luke is telling me that it's because you keep muting him. Of course, the producer's going to blame it on us, Brian. All right,
Okay,
let's
well-
just go with what we had working in the very beginning, and we'll be fine. Which means we're just going to go off of the laptop, I'm guessing. What do you
Yes.
want him to do?
Okay.
Or just the laptop mic.
Is this not working for him?
It's working for him, but I hear myself twice. I hear myself repeating every time.
Oh, just turn the volume all the way. Oh, wait, let me.
Can you say something, Jeff?
Look really nice in the background.
Yeah, it's only your laptop mic working, Jeff. So
Okay, perfect. Luke, we need to just do it off the laptop and shut everything off.
yeah.
So I don't know. He needs to probably flip it because I'm getting reverb and he's only hearing our mic from the laptop right now.
Yeah, we'll have to fix that.
And sorry to anyone on the live audience. That's really annoying for you guys to have to wait for us to figure this out. 100% my fault, not Sisu's fault. So I'll
Jeff,
fall on the sword.
I think it's just you've got two of you in the room, which is why you're getting an echo. I would just go off your laptop and just unplug your headset. If you can hear me without the headset, I think that's great.
Okay.
Maybe pull the headset from the laptop or something. Are you still getting an echo?
All right, let's test it now and see. Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. I can hear it now too. All right, so
The only way to do it would not be that, not have two of us in the room. Actually, yes, I have. So you need to be able to see. Should be able to see and hear.
We'd have to go wireless. Let's just go off the laptop. So Brian, flip it around so that it's the other monitor that you were using.
try that. Try that. Can you? I don't hear you. Say something, Jeff. Yeah, the other mic is not working.
Just go off the laptop. So switch the monitor view. The backstage location, take the backstage and put me on stage. Instead of this camera, let's use this camera.
Something about having a full-fledged studio, Jeff.
Yeah, we thought we'd have the second location for a monitor, so unfortunately it didn't work. Brian, I'm gonna jump out and come back in.
Okay.
Okay, we'll start over. Oh, that was.
So you jumped out of the one. You're still in with the other. Sorry, guys. Technical difficulties. Getting ready to display a lot of technology, and obviously he has his whole studio set up there, and didn't expect for the multiple logins to create that in his ear. Let's see if we can get him added back in here. Jeff, can you hear us?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
All right, I hear you. I just don't see you.
Okay, well, let's get that working.
Are you still getting an echo?
Nope, you sound perfect.
Okay, great.
I'm just plugging in my fancy webcam.
Okay, there we are.
All right, here we go.
Welcome
Sorry
back.
about that.
Welcome back, Jeff.
Round two. So what I was saying is we had actually switched brokerages from Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, which is literally across the street, to launch kwELITE Keller Williams. And the intent was building an office that was tech powered, which we just experienced tech getting in the way to some extent, which I apologize for that. But really it was to house our digital marketing hub, which is what we call a studio. And so inside the room that I'm actually in right now, we can create 7 different podcasts across 7 different businesses that all reside inside of our new space. So our new office has obviously the kwELITE element where you have agents and the brokerage here, but then we have all of the ancillary businesses that run parallel. So we've launched a mortgage company, title company, insurance company, an investment arm. Of course, we have our elite real estate systems coaching arm that is located here as well. And so the idea was, instead of having to go out to a third party for all of our digital marketing needs, we'd be able to do a handful of things from here. So if you have a podcast, which I know, Brian, you have a very successful podcast, as do a lot of the presenters today and tomorrow on the summit. I know from a podcast standpoint, you have a lot of creative elements that you can then take and place on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube channel. And instead of having to create new content, you can literally just derive that content from the influencers and top producers that you're talking to on a daily and or weekly basis. So the hub serves as our marketing arm to try to get our message across both locally for all of the local businesses and nationally. We also have tech-powered conference rooms and training rooms. We have 6 conference rooms that all have immersive technology in them, which is bring your own device tech, which means you can screencast like you would on an iPhone to an Apple TV. You're able to screencast in the exact same way from any device. So your phone, your tablet, your laptop, and it can be an iOS, Samsung, Droid, it doesn't matter what it is, and you can screencast. You can have up to 4 devices at the same time as well in that cast. So if you bring in builders and designers, or you just have a buyer and their significant other and the agent, all 3 of you or 4 of you can be sharing information at the same time. And our belief was, and I was actually asked the question at Family Reunion in February. This is pre-COVID, obviously hitting the United States. Gary had me on stage in front of 20,000 people, along with 2 or 3 other agents. And he asked, what's the one thing, in our opinion, we thought everyone in the audience should be focusing on over the next 5 years that will help impact their business for the good? And my response was that I believe that anyone that offered a physical space should give that same offering virtually. So for your agents and the clients that you serve, they should have the option of coming in virtually. And up to that point, there really wasn't a strong solution for that. And then we saw that as COVID hit and everybody, was either quarantined or there was people on and off of quarantine, and real estate in some areas got completely shut down. You started seeing people have webinars. I think you and I probably even had an interview or 2 talking about digital open houses, virtual open houses. FaceTime had me on their podcast twice talking about how to strategically market our properties virtually to keep our clients safe. Well, since 2017, we had actually been using a company called Verly, who we've now recently partnered with, and Verly standing for virtual reality, and that's the studio that we're in today. Verly's main focus was creating Matterport videos and making them look cool. So
how do you spell that, Jeff?
It's getverly.com, GETVRLY.com. And what they've done, Brian, I don't know if the chat works for the national audience, but I can throw some links in here. What they did really well was take a listing and be able to provide a Matterport tour on that listing, which for anyone that doesn't know that yet, that's just a 3D tour that you can tour in really fancy goggles like the ones I have, or something as simple as a computer monitor or a phone. But it's a 3D tour where it gives you a 3D aspect of 360 aspect of every location the camera did its spin. And what they did really well was they were able to market the listing beyond Matterport. Matterport just provides you a link to go look at homes. It doesn't market that link very well. And so a lot of agents would use the virtual tour button would be Matterport, which doesn't advertise the agent. So Verly's solution was, we can take Matterport and make it look a lot better. So they started doing drone flyover, gimbal fly through. Of course, the Matterport product, HD pictures with DSLR cameras, custom landing pages. They're Zillow optimized. They're one of the premier producers. They 4 different videos, one for Zillow, one for the MLS, one for the agent, and then even a 4th, I think, for Instagram, IGTV. And all of that is $250 everywhere in the United States. As long as you have a shooter and you have your own equipment, You can get all the editing and all the back thing for $250. So my point being is we started this in 17. So when the pandemic hit in February 2020 and everyone was saying, you know, we don't know what to do. It's not safe to look at houses. We need virtual reality. We need virtual open houses. We already had all of it and we required it at Omaha's Elite. So our flagship team that went from 70 to 700 sales in 6 years was requiring, starting in 2017, that every agent on our team made this available to the public because I believed that the public was going to demand a virtual option. And lo and behold, 3 years later, and of course I would have never wished it upon anyone, a pandemic hits, which truly requires a digital option. Literally a month after Gary Keller asked that question, pandemic hits, which truly requires a digital option. And now we can let the consumer vote. I just heard a study today. I was on a phone call with Rogue Fitness ordering some equipment for my outbuilding. They said 50% of consumers that were going to a gym, based on a survey, I don't know what survey it was, so don't fact check me. 50% of people that belonged to a gym said they will no longer belong to a gym and never plan on joining a gym again because they've replaced the equipment that they used at the gym, which most people have their one thing, the stair step or the elliptical, the weights. They've replaced that now. Rogue Fitness hired 600 people in the last 6 months to replace all of the different demand for that equipment. And so it's just very telling that people are, have been forced to go digital and now they're going to have the option to go digital. And so my belief was that every real estate office, every office period should have that option. And now you see all the big Fortune 500 companies going hybrid, where you have a few people that are reporting to work, but most people are working virtual as well. So that's us in a nutshell. I did a lot of talking around it, but I wanted to kind of create the foundation for our conversation just to talk about the hybrid element is giving someone the option of going virtual or physical. And then the one-stop shop solution that we talk about is putting all the ancillaries under one umbrella, which a lot of people say that they do that. I've heard a lot of brokers say, well, we have those things too. That's wonderful if you have them, but do your agents know how to have conversations around them? My belief, Brian, is that the agent of the future is not an agent, but an advisor. That the agent role is going to be more of an advisory role. In addition to buying and selling a home, it's also going to be talking about making sure they have the best mortgage product in place, making sure they have the best insurance quote, making sure that they have financial products like term life insurance to cover the cost of a replacement of the home should the high income earner pass away, or disability insurance to cover the cost of the mortgage should the high income earner get disabled. And to me, agents right now should be very worried. Thought leaders, industry leaders, owners of brokerages should be very worried that the agent role is going to get replaced with digital technology the same way Blockbuster was replaced by Amazon. And so if we want to continue to matter in the transaction, we have to do more than just help in that transaction. We have to be a lifelong client services representative that helps with more than just the buy and the sell.
Okay. So couple of things. One, you talk about this virtual and how, it's one thing to have a virtual office, but when you talk about showings going virtual, possibly closings being virtual, it's possible that everything could happen without actually getting in a home. Do you believe that?
100%.
Okay. So what does that look like in that case? How does the whole transaction happen?
Yeah. So it could happen. And I have sold, 10 years ago, I sold houses, walking people through and creating recordings of homes. It could happen, but I don't think that it's going to become the norm. Take a car, for example. Can you go online and buy a Tesla today? Yes. Would somebody go online and buy a vehicle they've never ridden? They've never stepped foot in? Probably not. Most people, I don't think, would. If you took a survey, would you just go online and buy it without ever stepping foot in it? What I think the virtual application is for is to weed out all the homes that take 8 hours or 8 days of going all around town looking at all these different properties. You can weed them out so that you can narrow it down to 2 or 3 by using the virtual option. That's where I see people doing it for the most part. As far as the virtual transaction, once you've seen the physical home, I think everything else can be done virtually because that's how we do it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Is there anything you want to show us on the technology side of that, on this or not?
Yeah, I mean, I can share a link with you. I don't know if that can just get included after the fact, or if I can put it in chat and have people be able to go access it. So like what I just dropped into chat right there, that's our 6 degree of freedom tech. That's actually a 3D render, which offers 6D application. If you have an Oculus Quest goggle or HTC Vive Pro goggle, you can actually walk that space physically. If you have a Cardboard or Oculus Go goggles or Samsung virtual reality headsets. You can tour that property the same way you'd tour a Matterport, except you'd have a remote that lets you drive through it. Think of a video game, if someone's not going to take the time to click on this. Before you ever build a home, or before your client ever builds a home, our company, Verly, for $2,500, and normal cost in this is 5x 2,500, will build a 3D render that incorporate all of the digital, creative assets. So it includes all the finishes, fixtures, equipment. So if you hit play, and this is something else that's unique, and everyone can look at the URL if you want to go check that out on your own. If you hit play, we have this video in a cloud. So imagine sending your client this video so that they can go and have access to it on their own. So when the builder gives them the floor plan, it's not just a 2D blueprint, which is what we've been doing for thousands of years. We now can create a virtual render that lets them not only have pictures of the 3D render, but can actually explore that 3D world from any vantage point. You can literally fly up, down like a video game and move around throughout the space. Brian, are you able to click play on that or not? Is it not working? I just figured we can show it instead of talk about it. I also was the news station in Omaha just came and did a whole story about it. So if someone wants to see an example of the VR room, you can just search Jeff Cohn 6D channel 3. So Jeff Cohn 6D channel 3. There's a ton of videos online about the VR room. But ultimately,
Is this your new office, Jeff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And there's pictures on our Instagram if you want to go out and check out professional pictures. Just follow me at Jeff M. Cohn. JEFFM as in Mark, COHN. So imagine you've got these goggles on. You put them onto your head. And now, Brian, you can just drive around with your up, down, left, right arrows once it loads. And he's driving that right now. He's not hitting play. He can go anywhere he wants. So imagine if you're a consumer and you're spending $500,000 on your dream home and your builder comes to you and gives you your CAD blueprint and says, what do you think? Good luck trying to figure out your sight lines from a CAD blueprint. Look at that sight line. I could literally walk you out there right now. I'm next door to that. I'm in the office right next to it. I go down that hallway. That's where I am right now, to the right, down there to the right.
Should we see if we can see Jeff?
There I am. So that is literally the room I'm sitting in right now inside my office. So this is the future. And a lot of people say, well, can you do this with existing homes? And not yet. The camera, the best camera I've seen is the Matterport camera. You can get them for about $3,000. And it just is a 360 camera that spins every location you set the camera. The difference between 6D and 3 is the 6D lets you have every vantage point. You can go up and down. And so if you put the goggle on, you could literally look under cabinets, look under countertops. You can stand on your tippy toes. It gives you perfect frames of reference dependent upon where you are inside the space. Whereas in 3D, you're forced to only have the vantage point of where the camera was when it was taking the 3D render. So 3D is used for existing spaces. 6D is used for non-existing spaces. But where we differentiate ourselves is we actually own the proprietary technology that builds the 6D render. So my company, Verly, actually built this 6D render at about 1/10 of the cost of what you're going to pay if you try to do this locally. Have you ever seen anything like this, Brian, for new construction applications where someone can actually drive through the house?
No.
So what you'll see is some developers will have, like Chief is a program that a lot of developers use to create their 3D images of the elevations. And they have VR goggles. They're $1,000 that they can buy, but they still have to bring the consumer into their office to use the goggles. The consumer doesn't want to come to your office, ladies and gentlemen. They want to be able to do it from their bedroom. They want to be able to do it from their kitchen, their office at home, their office at work. They want to have all of the access that they have in a physical space and a virtual space. So imagine if you're building a home and can send someone a link of the home that's getting created. And then we even include a contract where they can come into our VR room twice and make changes. So if the significant other comes in, they're like, I hate that black countertop. I want to see what that looks like green. We can actually give them a toggle button, and the builder can incorporate maybe their top 10 finishes, fixtures, and or equipment, and it can change real time just pushing a button. So where we see the future of this is every builder in America that builds out model homes, instead of building 7 models, you can just build 1. And then you can build into that model literally a virtual tour. So someone's standing inside the room, toggling with a button. So you're able to literally go through and toggle inside of that room all of the different options for finishes, fixtures, and equipment.
So Jeff, what does your timing look like on this to expand so that this is something that's available for everyone on this call?
Done.
So,
I wouldn't bring it up unless it was available. GetVerly.com. So you want to know more about 6D.
All right. So Ben, I guess that answers your question. So Jeff, you also talked about the real estate agent becoming an advisor for mortgage, title, insurance, and you name it. Tell us more about that, because I think that's such an important piece of the business that if you are ignoring it right now, you really need to start paying attention, and not only start paying attention, but start preparing for and building businesses in those areas. If you really, because the
100%.
real estate agent is at the front of the transaction. As the real estate company, that's the beautiful thing about being in real estate. You may not make as much as some of these other industries, but you control pretty much where that client goes the whole way through and beyond. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you. So if you get my business plan, shameless plug, if you go out to growwithers.com, we'll give you a free copy of Jeff's business plan. You can go to jeffsbusinessplan.com as well. And in the business plan, it talks about the step-by-step progress that we followed to go from 70 to 700 sales in 6 years. We were the fastest growing real estate team in history, to my knowledge. We also were the fastest growing real estate team on the Boomtown platform. We launched in 2011 and just grew exponentially. If you look down that list, you'll see Jeff's business plan right in the middle. You can also download our keynote. And we have all of our upcoming events that are listed on there. We actually have a workshop in 2 weeks here in Omaha. Would love to invite anyone out to check that out. We have 50% off discount right now that we're running for that. So growwithers.com, and you're going to find, once you register here for access to the business plan, it's going to share with you the strategies that we implemented to scale our business. And the first strategy was creating a vendor list. And we didn't charge anything for the vendor list. We just wanted to give our clients really good recommendations when it came to mortgage, title, insurance, home inspection, home warranty, and the list goes on. There's about 200 vendors we work with. The second step is, once you have tracked every single referral you've given to a vendor partner, you can start to surmise how much money you're creating for that entity. And it's my belief that a strong business should take 10 to 20% of their revenue and put it towards marketing. And so when I saw that I could bring more business than a billboard, I would reach out to these vendors that we were already supporting and invite them to partner with us in a strategic marketing service agreement, RESPA certified. And I was able to partner with a lot of businesses very early on, up to the tune of around $12,000 to $15,000 a month we had coming in MSA contributions. Well, most teams end up there. They don't go any further. And what I saw was that the challenge of an MSA contribution, of vendor partners and creating those MSAs, is I had people spread all over the city. And even though I'm in Omaha, there are 1 million people here, and it's about a 30 to 45 minute geographical footprint. So I didn't want my client to have to go all the way across town to meet with the mortgage lender, somewhere else to go to the title company, somewhere else to go to the financial planner, somewhere else to go to the insurance company. I wanted it all in one place, and I wanted to control that experience better. And so I took it a step further. So once you have the MSA created and you show that you can bring value, the next step and the highest level that I see some brokerages getting into today, and Brian, I know we've talked off air a little bit about this, and I know Gary Keller has launched his mortgage company and his insurance company, and so have other people that are following suit. And so we launched our own Exarban Mortgage, Exarban Insurance, Platinum Title, and Escrow. And we partnered strategically with the financial wealth company Collaborative Planning. And we did this because we wanted the consumer to have access to all of these ancillary businesses in one place. And so you might be thinking, well, what do you do when your agent has their own MSAs with somebody else, or the client's already working with somebody else? Great. Our goal as an agent is to advise, meaning we should always be giving everyone that works with us options. We should make sure that their State Farm insurance policy is better than one of the independent contracts that I'd be able to get them a quote for. And so what we train our agents on when it comes to dialogue is that we're not here to replace the relationships that people already have. We're literally here to support those relationships by giving the consumer a second option to ensure that they have the best coverage at the best rate, that they have the best mortgage rate, that they refinance their mortgage. And if I've lost you up to this point, the challenge question I give an agent is this: how many times in this year, rates are at a 50-year low? For everyone watching that has sold a house, your client probably got a mortgage on that home. Have you reached out to your client this year to let them know that rates are at a low and suggest that they refi their loan? When somebody purchases a house, do you make a recommendation to them that they should consider taking out a term life insurance policy to cover the replacement cost of that house, because that loan essentially is going to come due when somebody passes away, and a term life policy that might be $20 a month could cover the cost of that? Most agents aren't having these conversations because their focus is a big dollar sign. right? They're focused primarily on taking care of the client, putting them under contract, moving on to the next deal. But that's not going to survive. Agents that work that way aren't going to be in the business in the next 2 years. Agents need to move more into that advisory role, and brokerages that want to survive, in my opinion, are going to need to teach their agents how to serve in that advisory role as well.
Okay. Jeff, thank you so much for joining us today. I know there's a lot of people that want to learn more about this stuff, so maybe you could hang out in the chat for a bit and answer any questions that come in around that. And it's always great to catch up. Let me know when you're going to be out here, and we'll get a ski weekend planned.
That sounds like a plan. Appreciate it, Brian. I love your background, by the way. That's a really cool green screen.
Yeah, thank you. It's a live green screen.
It's real life. It looks awesome, man. Appreciate it, Brian. Have a good one.
You too. Thanks, Jeff.
All right, see ya.
Goodbye.